everyone, my name is Kieran Rose, I'm the Autistic Advocate, and once again in week 4 of our series which has no name, it's just Kieran and Zoe talk about stuff, we have Zoe and Nick King back again. Hi everyone. So
we're in the same clothes.
We are, because we do like double recordings, don't we? So we're just as I said in previous videos, we're not minging dirty. We don't wear the same clothes all the time.
How's about wearing the same t-shirts today?
Yeah. Well, actually, I quickly ran off and changed into another t-shirt I've got, which is exactly the same. So I'm clean. You're just dirty, you two. But anyway, so we are we are on episode 4 of our. We're on episode 4 of our series. We are answering questions that Zoe has researched and devised. And we've got some questions from outside places as well, haven't we? We did last week. Not in this one. Okay. No more questions from Carrie. Okay. So
there will be some on like the 7th episode.
Okay, the 7th. Are we going to a 7th one?
Apparently. I think you meant 5 or 6.
I thought I worked out 6.
Oh, there was a myth two-parter.
Oh, was that like one giant one? Anyway,
for the rest of his life.
Yeah, to be fair, we could just do one every week forever and not run out of things to talk about, couldn't we? So, unless people get really bored and we're just talking to ourselves. But anyway, so do you know, Zoe, do you want to introduce yourself? That might be useful. Just quickly.
You don't know by now.
Well, if you don't know, but for people that don't know, not everyone's seen all the other videos yet, have they?
No.
No. Why not? I don't know.
Hi, I'm Zoe. This is my mum, Nick. I don't get a call that regularly, so it's good for an excuse. Anyways, I'm an openly autistic girl. I came out a year ago. I'm 10 years old. My friends accepted it really well. I'm doing a part in a series with Kieran because I was sick of people going around in the field asking us what autism is and self-diagnosing themselves like a bunch of weirdos. And this took a good opportunity because not every day you get to work with Kieran.
No.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Some people don't like working with me.
Now you're stuck with us.
Exactly. Right then, so every week Zoe has come up with a bunch of questions that she pulls out of a pot. Is it a pot or a hat? I can't tell. It's a pot.
It's a woolen basket.
A woolen basket. Okay, so she pulls the questions out of a woolen basket and then we do our best to answer them. Okay, are you ready with question number 1 then? Oh yeah. Warm those hands up.
How do autistic people cope with isolation, keep busy and deal with it? I'm joking. Seriously, keep busy and hug it out. That's literally what I've been doing when I'm feeling sad. I hug it and cry it out.
Are you this is a really relevant question at the moment then, isn't it? Because obviously everybody hopefully is isolating.
This is why we're doing video.
Well, yeah. This is one of the reasons, because this has been something that you've set yourself to do, hasn't it? It's been useful for you to do this as well. But so are you finding self-isolation at the moment really hard?
You have read my mind. Like, I'm finding it really hard. I've been keeping busy. I've had help from people, but it doesn't make it any, the stress of change is still there, and the changes within the change, and like learning that actors you really like have got COVID, and it's just really weird. Everything is going on, and it's really weird. But trust me, we'll get through this. If you haven't seen my window, every cloud has a silver lining, and there's a bunch of rainbows on it.
I think that's a perfect answer, to be perfectly honest. I mean, lots of autistic children and adults are struggling because they like to be outside and running around and kind of getting their sensory input from the outdoors. And I know you're like that as well. So has that been something that you found difficult?
Well, not really, because I've been out in the garden, and I've also, when I felt today, Dad was getting really nervous about like going out because he has been on his 5th, 6th week of I cannot speak. Isolation.
Yeah.
And he was going out in the neighborhood, and and I said no. But then I went out with him when I learned he was like really stressed, and I felt proper guilty.
So did he want to go out for a walk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept him busy of how to stop Earth's pollution, which accidentally ended in the world burning with a lot of headless portraits.
That's random. One of the things.
Distracted him.
I distracted him.
One of the things that I've been doing, actually, this is why, because I was late to our record, a little bit late to our recording today, and one of the reasons for that is because I was outside gardening. So I've started growing vegetables again, which I haven't done for a very long time. So, but it's kind of, my kids have loved it as well, and it's never something that they've ever wanted to take an interest in, but now all of a sudden, because they've got nothing else to do, they've really started getting into doing it and stuff, and digging in and potting seeds and things. And so I know it's obviously difficult for everyone at the minute, isn't it? And that's the thing to kind of keep in mind, that everybody's going through the same kind of difficult experience. We're not doing it on our own. We're all kind of doing it together to a degree.
Yeah.
Next question then.
Okay, this is the one with the cake one. Just got some around. Well, if you look in the bowl, there's one that's really obviously going to get picked. Because it's huge compared to like
What was that?
That must be a big question.
It's a little question.
Is it? It's a big bit of paper.
Go on.
I'm not looking the look on your face.
people have been seeing me to the yard for years, and I keep having to tell them the answer is no.
What's the question?
Can you be a little bit autistic?
Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Can you?
No!
Well, why not?
Look, either you're born with it or you're not. You can't not be a little bit autistic, because if the definition of autism is basically different wiring of your brain, your senses, and everything.
I
So you
see.
can't just have a tiny bit of that wiring, otherwise your brain kind of
Wouldn't work.
it doesn't fit. And what am I
Well,
doing?
that's fair enough. So, yeah, I think people confuse. I think, do you know, when people say that, it's almost like they're saying that autistic people aren't human, because autistic people have human characteristics as well, don't we? Obviously, because we are human. And I think people confuse
Right now, does that
those.
sound like human quality?
But so if that would be like saying, oh, I've got a stomach pain, so I must be a little bit pregnant, or I'm going in a little bit into labour.
Yeah, there was once this person who thought they were pregnant, but we're not.
What's what?
No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We'll not use that example, whatever
We're not using
that was. I think when people talk about, you know what OCD is, don't you? Yeah,
I'm a little bit
people say,
autistic.
oh, I'm a little bit OCD. No, you're not a little bit OCD, because OCD is very, very debilitating to a lot of people. So you can't be a little bit of things like this, because
Yeah, because basically, if you think of like autism,
Yeah.
oh, we're getting technical now.
Where are you first?
It's coming. There's an example coming.
I can see that.
so these bits should fit. These bits are neurotypical wiring.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a little bit autistic, well, let's just say that this.
Can you be a little bit neurotypical? What kind of neurotypical are
Be quiet, I'm doing a demonstration.
Come on.
So the wiring's meant to go like this, but if you're a little bit autistic, as you can see here,
So they don't connect.
They don't
They
connect.
don't connect.
if the brain wiring does not connect, you're dead.
Okay.
Okay. So basically the answer is no.
Basically, yeah. Oh, also, reattach it. neurotypical.
It's actually
Yeah, put your neurotypical wiring back together. There we go.
Belly.
But you can't though, can you? You can't be a little bit neurotypical.
No.
Well, if you can't be a little bit autistic, you can't be a little bit neurotypical either, because they're opposites.
They work very differently, don't they?
Also, sorry for saying, but I was doing an example.
Sorry. I'll behave.
I'll make you good coffee.
Do we have another question, or are you just distracting yourself with fiddle toys now?
Not a good question.
What? I haven't read it yet.
Ah.
This is one that school and some parents should listen to. And just because mainly it does happen everywhere and I've heard of it happening and it's wrong. Are impulses controllable? Well, places drill things into you. Like if you to use a popular quote from one of my teachers, anonymous, if you feel a little bit impulsive, come to me and say, I feel a little bit impulsive. And then they're drilling it into my head that I can't do it, I'm going to damage it, I'm letting everyone down. Blah, 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 blah. But when you have the very definition of impulses is something you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
What are you expecting us to do? Just to think, I feel a little bit impulsive. What should I do now?
I think that's the thing. That a lot of people think impulsive behaviour is a choice, a behavioural choice you are making, rather than a need or an impulse that you've just, it's happened before you thought about it.
With my experiences of impulses, you only think of one thing, it was the impulses, and if you don't do it, you feel like the world's going to end and you're going to be sucked into a portal and then
So what we're saying,
how to do that thing.
So what we're saying is that the word impulse, there's a clue in the word impulsive, really, isn't there? Yeah, that if you understand what the word impulsive means, you will know that it's not a choice. That if you're acting in a certain way, then it's because you are being driven to act in that way, and you're not choosing to act that way. Okay, so teachers need to take note of that, don't they? And that's the same with meltdowns as well and shutdowns as well. Lots of teachers and other people, not just teachers, think that
it's bad behaviour.
Think that it's a choice, that it's a bad behaviour, it's a tantrum, or you're choosing not to engage or interact. When in actual fact, it's not a choice at all.
I told Daddy that when the toddler actually hit him, I should be sad because basically it's gonna upset toddler. But I'm outwardly expressing my emotions and not anti-masking. And if I hold that in, then I'm masking in front of the safe space that I'm in.
Which then doesn't make it a safe space. No. Good answer.
Right, 2 questions related.
Oh.
So combined. We'll start with the first one, which is the basic one. What is high functioning?
Okay. So what is high functioning?
So it's like if you're intelligent and you can work and you're able to do stuff and you're verbal and things like that, you're classed as high functioning. Low functioning is basically when you don't talk, very poor motor skills.
Mm-hmm.
You have poor motor skills, you have learning differences, you have toileting differences.
Yeah, but these are classed as high and low functioning, except there's no such thing as high and low functioning.
Oh, why is there no such thing?
Well, for example, my dad works in a job, has a good life, fully verbal to anyone who isn't his family.
Okay.
At home, he can melt down, he can become totally non-verbal, he can fall into his obsessions sometimes, he can literally,
He's particularly bad with forgetting to eat.
he can forget to eat, he can forget personal hygiene. And people see him as high functioning, but those qualities are classed as low functioning. So that would just make him medium functioning.
Well, that's why it's sort of a myth, isn't it? Because nobody's completely high functioning. Nobody's completely
low functioning.
People, for me, right? I can speak and do school, and I haven't dropped out yet. But I have meltdowns. I can go non-verbal. I can start stuttering until I faint. Well, I don't faint, but you know what I mean. Like I was choosing my phrases. Okay. Being friendly. I've lost my train of thought now.
Oh yeah, I do that.
So do you when people are given that low functioning label, it's quite often because people don't understand that what they're seeing isn't necessarily autism, but it's quite often a learning disability or some other co-occurring condition that hasn't been identified.
Take Albert. Sorry. Take Albert Einstein.
You just burp, it's fine.
Maybe I didn't. Anyways, moving swiftly on. Albert Einstein didn't talk until he was 9. Probably classed as low functioning, but probably the smartest man in the world.
Yeah.
And he only spoke when he was 9 to complain his soup was hot.
I've got a friend who was given the label of low functioning, and she is now in her 40s and she's a cosmologist.
Exactly.
So
it just goes to show how irrelevant, and she's still non-verbal. She's still non-speaking. So she uses an AAC device and communicates through that, and she's a cosmologist. Like Stephen Hawking, obviously Stephen Hawking, we don't know if he was autistic or not. I don't think he ever had an autism diagnosis, but it's kind of the same thing though, isn't it? That obviously it was motor neurons disease he had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he would be classed as low functioning if he was autistic, but yet look at what he did. Look at the change, look at the things that he put in place and the theories that he came up with and all of those amazing concepts that he's developed and thought of that other people just can't do. And the people assume that people that are non-speaking aren't intelligent as well, because they're not, because we associate being verbal with being clever, which is just wrong.
And I think as well, functioning label, people can put too high of expectation on one group and too low of
an expectation on the other. Yeah.
Should we?
Right. Last question that I've just
like, it's so worthless you ripped it in half.
I made that question. I said I was putting this together. Not all any of this worthless. Or I may die. Should we function label autistic people? There we go. Now we can do the rest of it. No, we shouldn't function label autistic people, because I've said there's no such thing as function labels.
I think the weird thing is at the minute is we've sort of stopped in the main, or at least locally. I don't know of anyone who's given functional labels at the minute.
Well, they're using number levels instead now, aren't they? So they've just taken the functioning levels away.
I've never seen a
they're doing it
that looks like that.
They're doing different things, and they do different things all over the country, to be honest. So they just make it up as they go along, I'm sure.
I think what I don't get is that officially they've sort of stopped, but then you have random people deciding for other people, who aren't even qualified to do so,
based on outside observations and what they see,
on how they feel about them, rather than
how the person feels themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally told stuff. Sometimes I'm told stuff about my autism by other people who who don't know everything about what goes on inside my brain, and it really infuriates us. Like, someone once said, I think it was someone on the playground. But anyways, they said, hey, can you do da 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 da? And I said, I don't think I can. Like, I think anything about that. I don't think I can solve that. And I said, oh, come on, with more thought, with a faster brain, you must have more thoughts. I've heard you saying that your brain is like faster than like 97% of the world. And I'm like, yes, but it doesn't mean I have more thoughts about that particular thing. You do not tell me how my brain works. I know how my brain works.
So they were assuming that you knew the answers to everything.
I think they were trying to cheat off me for their homework.
I think it's a bit like that thing where like all autistic people are meant to be good at maths. I mean, you are good at maths, but not all autistic people are good at maths.
No, I'm terrible at maths. I'm absolutely useless at maths.
I was just struggling.
I mean, and your dad's amazing at technology and stuff, and I'm useless at technology. So it's going. I don't really know what I'm good at, to be honest. But
you're good at writing.
I'm good at writing. I'll go with that one.
Writing.
But yeah, it is that, isn't it? That people make assumptions based on all the myths that we kind of dispelled in the first two episodes. But because they just believe all these stereotypes and all this rubbish that floats around autistic people. Are you getting a bit hot there, Zoe?
Yeah.
Quite warm in here.
Or are you just happy flapping?
I'm just warm.
Was that the last question?
That was it.
Last question.
Oh, that was a short one, this one.
It was. Get us.
How many more bowls of questions do we have left?
I've got at least 2.
I can get more from the show. Not if I can go up and get more if you want to do more.
Well, we're on, this is week number 4, isn't it? So we've got at least 2 more weeks to go, possibly more. So thank you everybody for tuning in yet again to Zoe and Nick and I, and we shall.
Oh, you never know.
And next week I might just not even bother turning up, and Zoe can just do the whole show by herself. Thank you for tuning in again, everybody, and we shall see you all again next week. Bye-bye.